Okay, I think I'm filming. Still learning this camera, and it's been a long time since we did this. Trying to get back on the YouTube course here, and so it's been oh 8 months I think since I've made a video. And today I'm going to read one that I have sent off to MUFON for the journal. There's still like 5 or 6 that have been published now that I haven't read to you, but this one hasn't been published yet. And I've got, I think, just enough time to read it before I have some other things I have to go do. So, with your permission, that's what I'm going to do. It's entitled, The Independent Investigation of Everything Everywhere All the Time. And I completed it basically pretty much on May 19th of this year, 2023. I wrote a summary. The summary says this: It occurred to me that ufologists are all searching. So how does one, quote, see with thine own eyes and not through the eyes of others, or know of thine own knowledge and not through the knowledge of thy neighbor? And the answer is basically keep seeking justice and truth and keep asking questions. So here we go. If there is an interstellar code, and that's from Hypothesizing Interstellar Law, Arnim Birnbaum's article in the MUFON Journal of June 2019. If there's an interstellar code, why are we protected by it? Could it be that Homo sapiens are viewed as children at this stage in our current cycle of development? Other cycles may have been completed in the past countless times and will be repeated in the future endlessly. So the writings of my research say. And I'll give you the footnotes at the end. Regardless of how far we may have progressed in the past, at present, as a species, we tend to act like the punk kids on the block. We have tossed Adam and Eve's apple core, and now play with dangerous toys. We project our dominance into space via Space Force, flying convertibles, etc. Have we earned this right? I.e., have we demonstrated the restraint, calm, wisdom, love, detachment, generosity, or magnanimity that it takes to wield power with grace and empathy like the adults in the room should? More like it, we found Daddy's gun, snuck out of the house with it, and now we want to shoot something, anything or everything, to expend some of this adolescent anger that makes us want to fight with each other all the time. Would you let your daughter date that guy? Cue Ray Charles singing Hit the Road Jack. No wonder E.T. is a little standoffish. Perhaps the grown-ups in this intergalactic room are allowing us to experience life and make mistakes because that is how one learns. Well, learns what? Learns how to overcome self. On present-day Earth, selfishness is played by every ism Homo sapiens have bought into, ever, including capitalism. We still like that one mostly, but it is an ism nonetheless, like socialism, communism, fascism, Nazism, racism, and the rest of that joyful, happy band we all want our kids to grow up to be just like, right? Well, no. Quote, everyone who truly seeks and justly reflects will admit that the teachings of the present day, emanating from mere human sources and authority, are the cause of difficulty and disagreement amongst mankind, the very destroyers of humanity. Is it true that, quote, he who dies with the most toys wins? There's a footnote for that, but I just put, we've all heard that before. Or does that person simply move on without having learned anything? Having the most toys, often to the exclusion of everybody else, is the logical conclusion of all those isms, is it not? The non-Homo sapiens adults, and yes, I mean the ETs, may be confining us to our room, Earth, so we don't break the neighborhood windows, as it were. So, what about the independent investigation of truth alluded to in the title? Relatively few people have awakened, to whatever degree, and wandered into what the mystical Eastern faith of my research calls, quote, the valley of search. Some of us have noticed this, that, or a bunch of things that don't add up. Founding MUFON in 1969 is just one avenue through this valley. The Club of No Return, still coalescing and growing at this writing, is another group, awakening through unwanted but undeniable experiences, causing them to investigate independently. Take from it what you will. The writings of my research describe a calendar of 19 months spanning a 360-day year, with intercalendar days making up the balance. The months are named after attributes of God, and there is a month named Questions. There is not a month named Answers. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? All are asking questions and seeking answers, and many are beginning to think the rabbit holes all lead to the same place. My research agrees with this notion, saying, quote, this endless universe is like the human body, in that all its parts are connected one with another and are linked together in the utmost perfection. But if they lead to the same place, then what place? Disclosure? The phenomenon has already been disclosed to you and me. That's why we investigate. Is it acceptance of other realities or other beings? One would hope, but I have listened to the stories of hundreds of seekers after truth, including experiencers of weird phenomena or the Club of No Return like myself, and many of their responses are somewhat predictable. Lots of fear or other negative baggage of our culture's status quo that we just accept as normal. But should it be? So what am I suggesting? Just this. For Homo sapiens, the missing 600-pound gorilla in the room is humility, as in, quote, man's greatness lieth in humility. Isn't that drummed into us by mainstream media? Not. Steve Istall at howtohunt.com has been asking if there are powers that our species once had that we have now lost. I am sure there are some, the faculty of inner vision for one. But in a broader sense, the important powers to be regained to save the species, help us become one with our environment, and become mature enough for inclusion in interstellar associations are simply the godly virtues that help mankind coexist on Earth. More to the point, I found this, quote, by the righteousness of the one true God, if one speck of a jewel be lost and buried beneath a mountain of stones, and lie hidden beyond the seven seas, the hand of omnipotence will assuredly reveal it in this day, pure and cleansed from dross. Unquote. So take heart. Or, as Sergeant Oddball said in Kelly's Heroes back in 1970, quote, have a little faith, baby. Have a little faith, unquote. For my part, I need to keep changing myself. Sadly, and I apologize for saying this, it might not hurt you either. Each of us must do this. Call it biocentrism if you like. I got that word from this, Matter from Thought, Richard Beckworth, MUFON special production. I think you can find it on YouTube. When Homo sapiens childishly say, you can't make me, you can't make me, they are at least being honest. Why? Because you can't change other people. Some writers suggest we only have control over our own moral and behavioral choices, not the other guys. changing ourselves, that investigation into all things us, or dare I say, awakening ourselves to the unveiling of new horizons of reality, including new friends from out of town, is how we mature, grow, and since we may well be some of the first to do it, how we lead. On the other hand, keeping our nose to the workaday grindstone, believing the negative things others tell us to believe about those who are not like us, earthly or otherwise, keep us afraid of strangers and each other. But I repeat myself. Not changing is how Homo sapiens remains selfish, dumb, and afraid. So we can mindlessly fight each other for someone else's profit and power, not our own. Someone else gets all the toys, we get the bill every time. Nice system. We should all want to keep it that way forever, right? Actually, no. Quote, man must be a lover of the light, no matter from what dayspring it may appear. He must be a lover of the rose, no matter in what soil it may be growing. He must be a seeker of the truth, no matter from what source it comes. Attachment to the lantern is not loving the light. Unquote. So, as I seek for evidence of ET with my MADAR unit and night vision, and for truth from whatever source, what should I conclude about this valley of search? In the East, there is a story of a young man seeking his true beloved, Layli. He searched everywhere, sometimes in unlikely places, even sifting the dust. After a long, fruitless search, he falls into despair. Things only get worse when he finds himself pursued by watchmen bent on tossing him in jail or worse. They chase him into a blind alley where he desperately scrambles over a high wall, only to, at last, fall at the feet of the one he was searching for. May we all be so lucky. May we even find our true selves. So that's the end of the article. And here are, looks like about 15 endnotes. I suppose that will focus on them. You can get a screenshot of that if you want. And so that's my latest article. I hope you liked it, and I'll try to be back sooner rather than later with some of the other ones that have been already published. See you later. Bye-bye.